So, I'm on Twitter this morning, and Potspace.com's Twitter account posted. He says, I just, long story short, he says, I prefer to love and forgive, and that's how I live my life, and I prefer to do this. And I was like, well, you can't do this with bad people. You can't do this with people that will fuck you over and over and over again. And he's like, oh, well, I prefer it to be this way because if I'm not, then I'm just angry. And I'm like, well, okay, I've heard people say this shit before. I don't remain angry, and I don't just like have a list of people that I hate, and it's like some serial killer's drawings on the wall, and just obsessed with it. No, like, I just push back. Like, there's fuckers in the world, and you gotta push back. And he's like, oh, who are these people? And I'm like, well, all kinds of people. They're all over the place. Most of my city's white, and most of the crime is white. Most of the drug consumption is white. You know, um, Look at me. I mean, I'm an Arab, but I'm. It's hard because I look white, but I'm an Arab. So what do I say? But he basically, and then he says, well, people target me because I'm white, and oh, fucking shit. And then after he says people, I don't think I said a damn thing about race before he said that. I could be wrong, but I don't think I said a damn thing about race. And eventually, he says, you sound racist. And I told him, you're another brainwashed SJW that's trying to extrapolate something that I didn't fucking say. Okay, and oh, fuck. I don't know what this brain damage that has taken over society these days, but they just try to tell you what you're saying. They're not listening to anything you're saying. They want you to they want to say that you're racist. Even if nothing of the sort. Like, usually you can tell. I know some people have hidden, you can tell when someone's actually racist, without showing it, but he's the one that brought up race. I said nothing about race. I wasn't thinking anything about race. Eventually, when he brought up race, I was like, look, there's a part of the city that has a lot of color and has a lot of crime and has a lot of drugs. I don't blame that on the color of the skin. I don't, you don't, if you're black, or Mexican or whatever, you don't pop out of your mother's womb with something illegal in your hand. It's environment that makes us who we are usually. Um, and the government put the drugs in the hood, and that's what happened. They injected drugs into black areas, and that's what happened. I don't think about race when I'm pissed at people. I think about their fucking behavior. The only time I'm thinking about race, the only time I'm blaming something on race is when it's a good thing. Like, you cook me some great food, I'm like, Mexican guys, man, they're the best. Fucking cook excellent. Every time. Like Joe Coy says, nobody makes good Asian food like a Mexican guy. Um, and maybe some of those are off base. Like, I, would assume that, I don't know if it is, like, Asians score high in math. Not every Asian is good at math. I wouldn't imply that. But anyway, we're getting off track. But I'm pissed off about this bullshit Podspace.com account telling me I'm racist when I said nothing about it. I think if you track down the conversation and you look at everything we said, he brought up race first. He was trying to drag some racist thing out of me, and it's not in there. You can't. I'm not. I'm not one of these people that says I don't see race. But because race and culture is a beautiful thing, right? I acknowledge the things that make us different, but I'm not gonna peg some. I'm not gonna peg crime on nationality. I'm not gonna peg crime on, if they injected the drugs into white neighborhoods. Well, it's complicated because America is mostly white, but the drugs got shoved into the black neighborhoods. And it's, you know, bad things happen when crack shows up. I don't blame black people for that at all. Nah, it would happen to anybody. Shove drugs into their neighborhood. So, I don't know what the fuck Potspace.com's Twitter account is talking about, but it's very disappointing because, you know, I run into all these fucking internet warriors that want to believe that everybody is an evil racist, right? And by Twitter's criteria, I think he's far more racist than I am. You know, he's whiter than me. He brought up race first. He sounds like the one who's trying to work over his issues with people of color, not me. And I've been burglarized, you know, and it could have been a white guy, but I wasn't really living. There wasn't really any white guy. I think there wasn't any white people in that whole complex. I was the one, and I didn't. I think it. Yeah, I think that's true. Now that I hadn't thought about it that way, but this dipshit is making me think about it this way. So these people on Twitter think they know about race. You're very fucking disappointing, Potspace.com. Oh my God. Just another Twitter warrior.